Metallica versus Megadeth.
Megadeth versus Metallica.
Who will reign supreme?
Coming to you from one of the most resourceful, independent, and badass generations of all time. Welcome to the Gen X Brothers Podcast.
We have a very special show today.
Oh, yeah.
We are doing what we're calling is the ultimate showdown. Metallica versus Megadeth.
Metallica versus Megadeth. Megadeth. The ultimate shutdown. Who is the king of thrash metal?
So we've had this discussion many times with many people over the years. Why Megadeth over Metallica?
Yeah, there's so many different dynamics.
There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. So if you don't agree with what we're about to say, fuck you. I don't give a shit. Tough shit.
This is America. You're not supposed to agree with everything.
If you don't like what we say, then prove us wrong in the comments. Let us know why, or come at us. Come at us, bitch.
Come at me, motherfucker.
It's going to be very interesting to compare the two bands. Obviously, we're fans of both. Let it be known that we love both bands. They're both icons of the metal industry.
Who would you say you listen to most if you were to like break it down? You listen to Metallica more or Megadeth more?
Well, when I go to like an album, I go to Metallica. But when I go to an individual song, it always seems to be Megadeth. Well, maybe you can explain this because what do you think about Metallica? The thing that makes them great is, to me, that they are a band versus a single person.
When I think of Megadeth, I just think of Dave Mustaine. But I still, to this day, and I've always have, I just think of Dave Mustaine of Megadeth.
I don't know any other band names.
I don't care who's their lead guitar player. I know Marty Friedman was a big thing, but I just didn't care. Even though Marty Friedman's considered a guitar god, okay, that's great. But I didn't care if he was a Megadeth or not. I don't care who's playing guitar for them. Whereas Metallica, it's Cliff Burton, and then unfortunately Cliff passed away. Then we got Jason Newsted. And even Metallica, I don't care who's on bass anymore. I just can't see Metallica without Kirk Hammett, without James Hetfield, or without Lars.
They have a certain thing that they bring to the table, but it's a collaboration of those three people and maybe even the fourth sometime.
And in honor of Metallica, Cliff Burton, get out there and get that Cliff Burton action figure.
Now, is that a limited edition autographed, Eric? Did Cliff Burton come back from the grave to
It's definitely limited edition.
Shit?
It was the first one released, and I got the red version, too. It just came out.
Damn, the red version.
I want to dedicate this little segment to Cliff Burton, the late, great Cliff Burton.
So the big story is, obviously, Dave Mustaine. He was fired from Metallica.
Yeah.
So you think, well, shit, this guy lost out on the best opportunity, and he's always been in Metallica's shadow in a way. I mean, that's kind of the consensus. And as much as you would like to kick yourself in the ass, let's say you're Dave Mustaine and you hate your life and you say, fuck, man, I could have had Metallica money versus Dave Mustaine money.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse than being fucking Ron McGovney, because that is the first bass player of Metallica. That's the guy that Cliff Burton replaced.
I remember, Dave Mustaine got fired basically because of his drinking. He was like me. The band just couldn't handle the drinking or the drug use anymore.
But then again, if you're that first bass player, maybe you could have ended up dead like Cliff. So you're maybe thinking, hey, maybe I dodged the bullet there because I could have been dead. But.
Yeah, that could have been me.
What we're going to do here is we're going to break it down. We're going to try to break it down as best we can. We're going to start out with the top three selling albums, the best albums that Megadeth has. And of course, that's an opinion, or actually it's based on record sales.
Yeah, based on record
it's
sales.
It's the majority of opinion, but I know there's always going to be some asshole that's going to go, yeah, but I like Deep Tracks from 1842 before they were even born.
We can look at it in both ways. We can look at okay, how are they competing record sales wise? And then how do they compete opinion wise, public opinion? But at the same time, you got to think about Megadeth has way more records. At the same time, Metallica started pooping out after the Black Album. But Megadeth just kept going. They released probably, I think, 6 or 7 albums that Metallica didn't have nothing until they released the Death Magnet in 2008 and then the Hardwired.
Well, let's break it down first. Okay, so we got Megadeth, right? We got Megadeth. Their number 3 album is Countdown to Extinction. It was released in 1992. Then you have their number 2 album, which is Rust in Peace in 1990. And then you have the number 1 selling album, which is Peace Sells, But Who's Buying?
That's their number 1, right? I got
My favorite is Rust in Peace. That's the one with...
is that the one with Hangar 18 on it?
Yeah,
Holy
Hangar
War.
18 and Holy Wars. Those are my two favorite songs of all time. So when Holy Wars came out and then all of a sudden we're going to war with Iraq or whatever the fuck is going on, man, you were just like pumped. You were like, fuck yeah, let's go kill all those motherfucking Muslims and shit. I was just anti everything. Fuck it. You know, I'm not that way now.
Yeah.
I accept all religions. But back then the media fucking pumped it into you and you were just like, fuck yeah, let's go kill some motherfuckers. Let's go.
If you took everything away from Dave Mustaine, but just and you just had his lyrics, I mean, those alone are the most brilliant and probably even better than what Metallica writes.
And I think, again, that's where it comes down to the group versus the singularity, because Dave Mustaine has full control and can say, this is my vision. Nobody else can interfere. Even though he has other band members and other people contributing, he ultimately makes the final decision and says, no, I like this riff this way. Whereas, Lars, I've seen Lars in certain videos and I admire what he does, but you can see him being a little bitch toward James Hetfield. Like when he's trying to write Inner Sandman was originally about crib death. Lars was like, oh, I think crib death is that's too creepy.
Yeah,
we can't write about crib death. I was like, fuck you. Crib death is fucking cool. Write about fucking crib death, you stupid.
That's what's weird about Metallica. When before One came out, the video One, right? That was their very first MTV video. And because before that, they were like, we're going to be anti-MTV. We're going to be anti-radio. Then they got a little bit, after they did One, they got a little bit of taste of that success. And that's where Black Album came along. And there's like, Lars wanting to freaking
never say never, man.
Yeah, he's wanting to milk
but
that
I guess
cow.
that's what makes Metallica work, is that you have Lars, the driving force of success, and then you have James Hetfield, who's more just, hey, let me just write some good fucking riffs.
And even Lars is known for writing some of the riffs in Metallica. I guess he plays guitar too. He's been known to write some. I don't know which riffs he's written, whether
the shitty ones, I'm
probably
sure.
the shitty ones.
No, I'm just kidding.
Everyone
I don't mean to bag on Lars, but I just hate his fucking attitude.
Everyone bags on Lars. It's like a sport.
Because his attitude is like it's money over the art, which I understand because I'm kind of that way too. When you hear somebody have a great evil idea and then like fucking Lars and Bob, that fucking cocksucking dickhead Bob Rock, changing it to make it more commercial. It's like, fuck you and your fucking commercial. So in that regard, I think that's what makes Megadeth way better as far as, like you said, their lyrical content, because it's far more evil. It's far darker. The riffs have more freedom.
And even like Megadeth, like I've heard some of their stuff that's kind of more commercial sounding, the stuff that the Megadeth fans kind of frown on, like in their later albums. I thought they were actually good songs to me. I like, if they're going to go commercial, their commercial songs are way better than what Metallica tries to do commercially. So if you think about Peace Sells compared to when, like I said, Metallica's second album is Ride the Lightning. Now, Ride the Lightning is just a massive album. In the history of metal and music, even in general, like Ride the Lightning and even Master of Puppets is considered one of the greatest albums ever recorded.
So with Metallica, when you have the top three albums, their number 3 album is And Justice for All, which was in 1988. You have Ride the Lightning, their number 2 album in 1984. And then their number 1 album of all time is Master of Puppets, which is 1986. To me, I think that's spot on. Master of Puppets is fucking
Master of Puppets to
phenomenal.
Me is that's my all-time favorite by them. I'll put on Master of Puppets, and I think it's all-time favorite, but then I put on Ride the Lightning, and I'm like, I just love this just as much.
But that's what I'm talking about, how Metallica is great at creating a concept album.
The reason why Kill 'Em All was good is because it was raw, and because when you take how Metallica was on Kill 'Em All, they were just finding their sound. They were just, there
really was nothing else like
fast
it.
And raw. And then to go from there to go to Ride the Lightning, which was very progressive and very just like, I mean, these guys, it's like night and day, the progression between Kill 'Em All, which is only like a year apart. Kill 'Em All was 83, Ride the Lightning 84.
Well, if you said that Dave Mustaine had a big hand in Kill 'Em All, that just shows the progression they made to Ride the Lightning without him. Maybe it was almost for them wanting to prove that they could do it without Dave Mustaine in the band.
And he does have the songwriting credits on on some of those songs on Kill 'Em All. Like before Kill 'Em All was released, they had released some kind of like demo tape to the public, kind of like what Motley Crue did with their first album. But this one was actually with Dave playing on guitar.
So then if you have Countdown to Extinction, which is Megadeth's number 3 album, and then you have Metallica and Justice for All, I say And Justice for All blows it out the fucking wall. Like, I don't know. I don't know about you guys.
I like And Justice for All until I put it on, and it seems like the songs just kind of, I kind of get bored of it.
They're long and very like, you have to be in the right mood to
And what other thing I don't like
it.
about it is that there's no bass, and the fact that they actually turned his bass down, and they actually admitted that's what they did because of what they were like, why get a bass player to replace Cliff Burton? You're so broken up over Cliff Burton. and you get a bass player to replace him, but then turn his shit down in the studio just to fuck with him.
I thought he did play for And Justice
he
for
did
All.
play for it, but what they did was they turned his bass down where you can't even hear it. So that's the whole thing about the Injustice for All album. And some guy actually went out. Some guy later on released his own version of Injustice for All where he actually put bass in it, and it sounds really good, or he cranked the bass up or whatever. But yeah, that's always been the big controversy with Injustice for All.
Well, I did not know that, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you for that fun fact. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, he did record his bass tracks, but unfortunately turned down. And so I don't know who's like.
But why would you do that? Like because he died, or
a lot of people are saying it's
like
because they were just still like not over Cliff Burton, and they just couldn't stand the thought of like hearing other bass playing in that.
Well, and then you have their number 2 album would be Rust in Peace, released in 1990. And then you have Ride the Lightning from Metallica. Now, as far as albums go, I would go with Ride the Lightning as the album. But my favorite songs, like I said, would be Holy War and Hangar 18 on those two songs. I listened to those way more than I did the whole Metallica album.
And if you're going by Megadeth's top 3 albums, check it out. There was an album in between Peace Sells and Rest in Peace. It was So Far, So Good, So What. But a lot of us forget about that. That's the 3rd album. That came out in 88 at the same time as Injustice for All, which was 88. So, but
do you know what song was, or what album was the song, that French song where he's committing suicide or something? See, again, with Megadeth, I listened to a lot of their songs as songs, and I don't even know how I did it when I was younger, because I remember listening to those on CD, but I remember just putting my favorite songs on repeat all the time and not listening to the whole album. I don't know why I did that. I was ahead of my time. I was already in Spotify mode before.
Was that song you were talking about, the French one called Lucretia or something? Lucretia.
It could have been, yeah. I never remember the titles of songs.
Yeah, me too. Because that would have been on, I'm looking it up, Rest in Peace.
Because that was about him like committing suicide or something. These are the last words you'll ever hear. Whatever the fuck I don't know how to sing.
Yeah, and that was the same album with Holy Wars.
See, then that's my all-time favorite album, Rust in Peace.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's a good album. I got to get that on vinyl.
So we're getting off topic here, Eric.
Yeah,
we're
what's
getting
the
off
verdict?
topic.
What's the verdict?
The fucking idea is Metallica versus Megadeth.
Megadeth versus Metallica.
Who will reign supreme?
What do you think out there? Who's out there listening, and who do you think is going to be the winner?
Yeah, let us know, man. Come on,
who's your contender?
Leave your opinion. Let us know. If you don't agree with us, if you do agree with us, let us know. Back us up.
Yeah.
Get our backs, man.
Yeah. So when we think about Metallica, commercially, they're probably going to swamp Megadeth, commercially wise. In other words, you can go to like New Guinea and the little pygmies that live in New Guinea. You mentioned Metallica, they've heard of Metallica. They probably never heard of Megadeth, right?
Yes.
But then you think about Megadeth, they're kind of bigger and better cult-wise, fan-wise, music-wise. They have way more albums. And I think their bad albums are better than Metallica's bad albums.
Yeah, because Metallica's bad albums were like the worst piece of shit.
Like we're still waiting for like that next good album, even though Hardwired was good. I mean, definitely a step in the right direction. But now, okay, that was what, 2019, 2017 when it came out?
Hardwired was good compared to the shit that came before. That's why it was so great, because you were just relieved that they weren't releasing a piece of shit. You were like, holy shit, finally something with some grit.
Here's the thing with Metallica. For me, I don't know about Load. I did listen to Load one time. It's just I was curious because everyone talks about that being like their worst album. And it was pretty bad. I mean, there was a couple of good songs on it, but it was pretty bad. But then there was like with Saint Anger, I tried so hard to like that album because I liked the cover, I liked the concept, but every song just sounded exactly the same. And there's something to do with, I don't know if it has to do with bringing Trujillo into the band. Maybe he showed them this riff that just somehow creeped into every single song where it's like, down, down. And they do that in every
like Metallica, they were all in a room and they were practicing and they never heard that riff before. They were, whoa, what the fuck was that, Trillio? Shit.
They'll be like, like do some kind of weird. It's like, come on, man. He just did that shit.
They were trying to cross over into Tool, you know?
And then they changed their guitar sound. It's not, they don't have that crunch that they had on like Messer or even like.
And I respect bands who try to do something different. I have no problem with somebody like when they did like the covers. And if they wanted to do a country album, then I'd be like, I would support that. I'd be like, okay, cool. You're fucking taking it in a different direction.
And they almost did with Whiskey in a Jar.
When you do something that's just commercially shitty, that's what those albums were. Like Load, they just were very horribly done.
Here's one thing I do give Metallica credit for. I just watched a recent concert of theirs because now they play these big arenas, but they'll like do like 2 or 3 shows a year where they'll just like do a weekend of these. They'll just play like huge plays. I think they just played in Vegas not too long ago. Where it was like just one big giant show. and I saw some footage on YouTube. It's actually well shot, and I have to give them credit, man. Like even though they might put out some kind of bad records, but they still play those songs like kick ass.
Yeah, I saw them I took my son G2 to see them in Seattle at the stadium, and that was a phenomenal fucking show. I mean, they had laser lights, they were tight as shit, and you could, they were dead on. And then I saw them in Portland a year later, and they were really good, but it was a smaller show. That stadium show was way better than the Portland show. All right, so we're gonna end this like everyone else does when they have this great fucking debate, and then they go, I don't know, maybe you should choose.
Yeah. Who do you
I hate
say?
when they do that. Yeah, what do you like? And then they leave it up to you, and then no, I'm saying fucking Metallica for me. Throughout all time, I'm a Metallica fan. If I had to pick, like if I had to save one of them falling off of a cliff, if I had Metallica and I'm holding them by a string, all the band members, and I had Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, and I had to choose,
you're gonna go
which one to save. I could only save one, Metallica or Megadeth. I'm saving Metallica.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said it, because I was actually thinking you were gonna choose Megadeth, because I choose Metallica, and the reason why is because. For one, I think Master of Puppets, no matter what, how many albums that Megadeth put out over Metallica and all the stuff they've done and all the great songs they've done, just that one album by Metallica just swamps their entire catalog to me.
Absolutely, yes.
And so hands down Metallica. So
well, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All, those 3 albums are just like the cornerstone of every great metal fucking library. I'm sorry.
And I'm going to go in there with Kill 'Em All as well.
Go into any Metalhead's album collection, and I guarantee you those 4 albums are in there.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit who you are. You may have 1 or 2 Megadeth albums, but I guarantee you have all 4 of those albums. If you have one of them, you have all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And that's just
one of the greatest lines, I think,
is,
even though it's a commercial song, is Exit Night, Enter Light.
Inner Sandman.
Yeah, I just love that line.
That's a great song. I love the lyrics to that. I mean, it's a great concept.
Have you heard Ghost's version of it? That's a really good version.
Oh my God, no. Can we go through one fucking show without you talking about Ghost?
Okay, check this out.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Metallica wins because they actually made Ghost who they are. It was James Hetfield that introduced the world to Ghost, because he was wearing a t-shirt way back when at a concert. Someone asked him, like, what band is that? Oh, this band is the new band. You guys better keep your eye on them. They're called Ghost. And then you put them on tour with them for a little bit. And
oh my God.
So I do thank you, James, for bringing me Ghost.
All roads lead to Ghost with Eric, man. I'm surprised Eric doesn't have Ghost toilet paper so he can wipe his ass.
Hold on, let me Google and see if they have that available. Gotta be some on Amazon.
Papa on your ass, motherfucker.
Come on, Papa.
Papa, you got to get the crack.
Yeah.
Get the crack, Papa. Wipe it good.
Yeah, but Metallica wins. Metallica wins.
Yes.
Woo!
Hands down. I'm sorry. Like I said, we love Megadeth.
Megadeth
Don't get me wrong.
And when I saw Megadeth last year, it was good, but I just kind of got bored. I loved seeing that Dave Mustaine was moving around really cool. His hair looked good, like all super long and flowing everywhere. But if I were to, like, I haven't seen Metallica live like you did, but I would imagine if I went to that same concert you did, that's going to be a way better show than what Megadeth put on.
Oh, yeah, I was blown away.
Go out there and buy this action figure, people, because the proceeds go to his charity. I don't know what the charity's called, but it definitely goes.
This is what I say, Eric. I say you open that up.
Right.
You buy like a little Barbie van, right? Put him in the Barbie van and reenact the crash that he died and killed, and just have the bus
but I'm gonna
fall on top of him.
But before that, I want to put Barbie in it so he's banging Barbie when it happens.
Like, yeah.
That way, at least he dies happy.
Yeah. And then the bus. No! Cliff Burnett! Yes, we love Megadeth.
We love Megadeth.
But we love Metallica just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. Or actually a lot more. I'm sorry. On my end. But so you're ruling, Eric.
It's Metallica.
All right. So if anybody out there has something to say about what we just said, fucking bring it on. Let us know.
Metallica wins. They are the master. I am the puppet.